Hello, welcome to Additional Mathematics with Miss D. Today we will be looking at Additional Mathematics Form 4 KSSM, Chapter 7, Coordinate Geometry. Let's start by looking at the significance of the chapter. Coordinate geometry is used in construction when drawing sketches of buildings. Other than that, coordinate geometry is also used by astrophysicists to determine the distance between planets. And it is also used in aviation to determine the angles in the flight paths of aircraft. Hence, you can see that it is an important and significant chapter. This chapter is divided into 4 different subtopics, namely, divisor of a line segment, parallel lines and perpendicular lines, areas of polygon and equations of loci. In this lesson, we will be looking at divisor of a line segment. Let us now look at the learning objectives of this lesson. To relate the position of a point that divides a line segment with the related ratio, to derive the formula for divisor of a line segment on a Cartesian plane, and hence use the formula in various situations, solve problems involving divisor of a line segment. As you can see, the word line segment, line, and points have been used repetitively in the learning objective. So before we start with today's lesson, let's use an interactive animated video using virtual reality to further understand what are line segment, point, and what are the differences between line segments and points. Let's go now. Now let's look at this animated interactive video using virtual reality by VATIF to learn the properties of lines.
View learning objectives. Learning objectives. After completing this module, you will be able to define intersecting lines, define parallel lines, define a point, define rays and line segments. Introduction to lines. One of the orange points indicates the position of the flower vase, and another orange point indicates the position of the statue. As you can see, the point is shown by a dot. We can say that a point is a dot that has no width, no length, and no depth. Now let's consider many dots like this between these 2 points. If all these points are joined together, we will get a line that we can extend infinitely in both directions as indicated by the arrows at either end. If one of the ends is fixed with a point replacing the arrow, the line becomes a ray. And if both the ends are fixed by replacing both arrows with fixed points, it becomes a line segment. Now, draw another line in such a way that it meets the existing line at a single point. The pair of lines are called intersecting lines. If we draw another line in such a way that the distance between the 2 highlighted lines remains the same, then they are called parallel lines. You have completed this activity. Select OK to return to the menu and continue to the next activity.
Now that we have learned about lines,
Assess your knowledge.
assess our knowledge.
Follow the instructions to perform the assessment and earn points. You can try multiple times, but points are only awarded if you answer correctly on the first try.
Okay, let's recall first. What is a ray? A ray has one endpoint and it's endless in one direction. A line, a straight path that is endless in both directions. A line segment, a straight path which has 2 endpoints. Parallel lines, 2 lines that never cross no matter how far they are extended. Intersecting lines, 2 lines that cross at a common point. And finally, a point. A point is an exact position. So let's start.
Relaxed mode. Here are 6 questions. You are untimed. Try to get 100%. Timed mode. Answer as quickly and correctly as you can to increase your score. Click on any mode to play.
Let's start with relaxed mode.
Click on the line.
Which one is a line? This one?
Right.
All right.
This is a line. Click on the intersecting lines.
So which one is an intersecting lines? Let's try this.
Right. These are intersecting lines. Click on the ray.
Array, which one's array? Let's try. Okay, let's try this.
Right. This is the ray. Click on the point.
Which one's a point? This? Oh, this. All right, let's try
Correct.
this. Correct.
This is a point. Click on the line segment.
Which one's a line segment? This? This? This. Okay.
Right.
Correct again.
This is a line segment. Click on the parallel lines.
Which one's a parallel line? This or this? Okay.
Correct.
Correct again.
These are parallel lines. You have completed the assessment. Here is your score. You scored well, and you have completed the module. Select OK to return to the menu where you can exit.
Good job.
Introduction to line. Assess
Now
your
let's
knowledge.
go back to assess your knowledge and try
Follow the
times
instructions
mode.
to perform
Play.
relaxed mode. Here are click on the line.
Which one's a line? Quick, quick, quick. Okay.
Right. This is a line. Click on the intersecting lines. Right. These are intersecting lines. Click on the ray. Correct. This is the ray. Click on the point. Right. This is a point. Click on the line segment. Correct. This is a line segment. Click on the parallel lines. Correct. These are parallel lines. You have completed the assessment. Here is your
job.
score.
Looks like
You
have
scored
got
well,
100%.
and you have completed the module. Select OK to return to the menu where you can exit.
Looks like we have scored 100% in both time mode and relax mode. So now let's get back to the slides to continue with subtopic 7.1. Let's go. Now that we know what are line segments and point, let's move on to subchapter 7.1, divisor of a line segment. Let's start with inquiry 1. In inquiry 1, we can see that the line segment AB has been divided into 10 equal parts, and point P is placed on the line segment, dividing line segment AB in the ratios m to n. All right, so observe that the sum of the values of m and n are always the same, even when the position of point P is moved towards point B or point A. So let's observe. We have got point P, which is placed on line segment AB. Now, when we move the position of point P towards point B, we see that the value of n decreases and the value of m increases, but the sum remains the same. And when we move away from point B, value of m decreases, n increases, but the sum remains the same. Also observe that the distance between AP and PB is the same when the values of m and n are the same. So let's discuss our findings. The first thing that we know is point P on the line segment AB divides the line segment into two parts in the ratio m to n. Ratio m to n means line segment AB is divided into m plus 1 equal parts. Okay, and the value of m plus n is the same throughout the whole activity that we carried out earlier. The position of point P on line segment AB determines the m number of equal parts from point A to point P and the n number of equal parts from point B to point P. The ratio m to n determines the position of point P on the line segment AB. When ratio m to n changes, the position of point P will also change. If m equals to n, then we know that the distance between point A to P and P to B is the same, which means point P is the midpoint of the line segment AB. Let's look at an example. Given line segment PQ, a point R is on PQ. Point R is 7/9 of the distance PQ from point P along the line segment PQ. A, sketch this situation by using the line segment. So we have line segment PQ and point R is placed on the line segment. Is point R closer to P or Q? We know that point R has to be closer to point Q simply because point R is more than half of the line segment from point P. The distance of point R is more than half. How do we know this? Because from the question, we know that point R is 7/9 of the distance PQ from point P. Next, by using the information given, determine the following ratios. So with the information given from the question, we know that ratio of PR to PQ is 7:9, RQ to PR is 2:7, and PR to RQ is 7:2. Finally, describe the relationship between position of point R on line segment PQ and its ratio. So we know that distance from P to R is 7, R to Q is 2, and the line segment PQ is divided into 9 equal parts. Therefore, point R divides the line segment PQ in the ratio 7:2. Now it's time for you to try a question on your own. The solution to this question will be discussed at the end of the lesson. Next, we are going to look at how the formula for determining the point P, which divides a line segment, is derived. Now we have line segment AB with their respective coordinates x1, y1 and x2, y2. And we have point P on the line segment AB with coordinates xy, which divides the line segment AB in the ratio n to n. All right. Now from this, we will first be looking at how the x coordinate of P is derived. So as you can see, the lines CD and the lines DE are parallel. Using this information, we know distance from C to D divided by distance from D to E is the same as distance from AP divided by distance from P to B. All right, so distance from C to D is x minus x1, D to E is x2 minus x, AP is m, and PB is n. Using this and simple maths calculations, we get coordinate x coordinate for P is nx1 plus mx2 over m plus n, where n and m are the ratios. X1 is x coordinate of point A, and x2 is the x coordinate of point B. Next, let's look at the y coordinate of point P. For the y coordinate, we will be looking at the lines PG and BF. We know that both lines PG and BF are parallel. Therefore, distance between PG and BF is the same as the distance between AP over PB. So again, now you have y minus y1 over y2 minus y equals to m over n. Using simple maths calculation, you get the coordinate y for point P, ny1 plus my2 over m plus n, whereby m and n are your ratios. Y1 is the y coordinate of point A, and y2 is the y coordinate of point B. Okay, so from this, we know Pxy is equals to nx1 plus mx2 over m plus n, comma ny1 plus my2 over m plus n. Now, let's use this piece of information to see what happens when m equals to n. All right, so substituting m into the equation, so you know that m equals to n, therefore we change all n values to m, giving us mx1 plus mx2 over m plus m, comma my1 plus my2 over m plus m. We get x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Therefore, when m equals to n, we know that the point that is dividing the line segment is your midpoint. All right? Now, let's use all these pieces of information to solve the next example. A, the coordinate of points A and B are -5, -2, and 5, 8. If point P divides the line segment AB in the ratio 3:2, find the coordinates of point P. Now, let's first sketch a diagram to see what's happening. So you have point A, -5, -2, point B, 5, 8, and then you have point P, xy dividing the line segment in the ratios 3:2. Using the formula that we derived earlier, let's first find the x-coordinate of point P. So x-coordinate is n x1 plus m x2 over m plus n, giving you the x-coordinate is equals to 1. And for y-coordinate, again, same thing, you have n y1 plus m y2 over m plus n, giving the y-coordinate is equals to 4. Therefore, we know the coordinate of point P is 1, 4. All right. Now, let's look at another variety of questions. So now here, you have points A, -7, 3, P, 5, -3, B, and M on a straight line. All right, so you know P divides the line segment AB in the ratio 3, 1, and M is the midpoint of AB. Fine, let's find the coordinate of B first, but before that, let's sketch the diagram. So in this question, you are given the point A of the line segment and point P, which divides the line segment. We are looking for point B. Okay, so how do we do this? Again, using the same formula. Now that we know the coordinates of point P, so starting with x-coordinate, we know the x-coordinate of P is 5. So nx1 plus mx2, x2 we don't know, so we use x, over m plus n is equals to 5. From this, we get x is equals to 9. And y-coordinate of P is -3, so using the same formula, ny1 plus my2, y2 we don't know, so we use y, over m plus 1 is -3, so this gives you y equals to -5. Therefore, we have the coordinates of point B are 9, -5. All right, so now that we are done with coordinates of point B, let's look at coordinates of point M. You know that M is the midpoint of AB, so again, let's sketch the line segment AB and place M in the middle. All right, so midpoint means your ratio is 1, 1. Now, how to find the coordinates of M? We will be using the formula for midpoint. So you know that midpoint of AB is equals to x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Substituting your x1 and x2, we get the coordinates of point M, which is the midpoint of a line segment AB, is 1, -1. All right, so we have looked at two different kinds of question. So in the first question, A and B were given, you were looking for P. Now, we are in the second question, A and P were given, you're going to look for B and the midpoint. Next, we will be looking at how to find the ratio. All right, so find the ratio of AP to PB such that point P -1, 2 divides the line segment joining point A -2, 1 and point B 2, 5. Okay, so let's sketch first. So you have point A, point B, and point P, and ratios M to N. All right, for this question, we will still be using the same formula, but you can choose to either use the x-coordinate formula or the y-coordinate formula. In my example, I will be using the x-coordinate formula. So using the x-coordinate formula, we know that the x-coordinate of P is -1. Therefore, nx1 plus mx2 over m plus n is equals to -1. Now we are going to look at m over n. Why are we looking for m over n? Because m over n is representation of m ratio n. Right? So you have 2m minus 2n equals to -m minus -n. Moving your m to one side, n to one side, you have 3m equals to n. And finally, you have m over n equals to 1 over 3, which means the ratio of AP to PB is 1 to 3. All right? You can try using the y-coordinate to see if you get the same answer. You should get the same answer. All right? Now, let's move on to try on your own too. There are 3 questions here which you can try on your own, and you can refer to the solutions at the end of the lesson. Next, we will be looking at one problem-solving question. A spider is at position E, -7, -5 on a graph paper and moves towards point G, 13.5 along a straight line with uniform velocity. The spider is at point P after moving for 18 seconds and arrives at point G in 1 minute. Determine A, the coordinates of point P. So let's sketch first. So you have E, P, and G, and you have ratios 3 and 7. How did I get ratios 3 and 7? I know that E to P is 18 seconds, and E to G is 1 minute, which is 60 seconds. Therefore, 18 ratio 60 can be simplified to 3 ratio 10. So E to P is 3 and E to G is 10. So P to G will be 10 minus 3, which is 7. So I get ratios 3 and 7. Next, I plug in these values into the formula. So I have coordinate Pxy equals to nx1 plus mx2 over m plus n, comma, ny1 plus my2 over m plus n. Substituting n, m, x1 and x2, I get coordinate of P is -1, -2. Easy, right? Yes, good job, girls and boys. Next, let's find the ratio of EQ to QG when the spider is at point Q, 11, 4 on the straight line. So again, let's sketch this. So you have E, -7, -5, G, 13, 5, and now you have a new point Q, 11, 4. Now that we don't know the ratio, so we use M and N. And if you remember from the previous slides, to find ratio, you can either choose to use X coordinate or Y coordinate. All right, so here, now we will be using the Y coordinate. In the previous example, we have already used X coordinate. Now, we know that the Y coordinate of Q is 4. So using the formula for Y coordinate, ny1 plus my2 over m plus n equals to 4. You get 5m minus 5n equals to 4m plus 4n. Moving your m's to one side and n to one side, you have m equals to 9n and m over n equals to 9 over 1. Therefore, we know that the ratio of EQ to QG is 9 to 1. Now, let's move on to try on your own 3. Here you have 2 problem-solving questions, which again you can try on your own, and I will be sharing the solutions in the next slide. All right, so let's look at the solutions. We had try on your own 1. So once you have tried the questions, you can mark your answers. Part A is m equals to 2, n equals to 5. Part B, P divides rope AB in the ratio 2 to 5. And part C, the coordinates of P is 6, 0. For try on your own 2, there were 3 questions. So question 1, A, P is -3, 4. B, P is -2, 1. And C, P is 3, -1. Question number 2, P in terms of T, so you get P equals to -2T. And finally, question 3A, C is 4, 4, and D, coordinate of point D is 2, 1. Finally, you have try on your own 3. 2 questions. Question 1, your coordinate is 28, 32. And for question 2, your coordinates are -1, 4, and 2, 3. Now let's move on to the final part of today's lesson. Throughout the lesson, what are the keywords that we have learned for today's lesson? Yes, that is right. We learned about point, ray, line segment, line, point dividing a line segment, intersecting lines, parallel lines, ratio, and we also learned the formula for finding the point dividing a line segment. All right, for parallel lines and intersecting lines, we will be using this knowledge for the next lesson. I hope that from today's lesson, you know now what are the difference between line segments, and point. So that is all for today's lesson. Hope to see you again for the next lesson. Take care and have a good day. Thank you.